What's going on, guys? So basically, I just pulled my boat out of the garage and pulled it out here to my backyard by the woods because it's a way cooler view, and the lights in my garage make a buzzing noise, and I figured that'd get annoying. But basically, I'm redoing my rod and reel arsenal. Today is October 4th, and I basically have 10 rods down that I use efficiently every time I go fishing. I have a couple more combos in my room, so I have like 14 or 15 combos, but I don't need those. And so basically, my first, I'll start off with this one. Basically, what it is a Jason Christie, well, it's a Falcon Jason Christie series rod, the 7'3". It's a jig and worm rod. It's a jig and worm pitching stick. It's a heavy with a moderate fast tip. Lure ratings are 1/2 to 1 ounce, and yeah, that's about it. It has, I can't really show you, but it has a ton of tip. And actually, when you set the hook, I like this rod for fishing deep because basically because when you set the hook, it loads really, really well. It actually will bend all the way down to almost this first guide, so the whole rod loads. What I've experienced is it's really good for fishing deep jigs and deep worms. And what this rod, and then on here for a reel right now, I have the Pinnacle Matrix 7-to-1, just red and black, super smooth. Can't even hear it when I reel, unlike my Lews. But right now I just have an A-rig on there. It's fall. I did catch a couple fish on this A-rig the other day, so they work up here in Wisconsin, just not very good like they do down south. But I still try to use it. Still catch a couple fish on it here and there. So there's that. There's one rod down. Next rod we'll go with is my punching stick, which I got to use a little bit this year. We didn't have weed growth like we did in the last couple years, but I still got to use it. Still put some really nice fish in the boat with this rod. Biggest one was about 4 pounds that I caught on this. I didn't catch anything over that this year, which was pretty depressing because it's a big fish type of game. But this is the GSX Elite. It's backwards for you guys, but I know. It's a 7.6 heavy action. Lure ratings are 3/8 to 1.5, and biggest weights I've used on this were 1 ouncers. It really puts a lot of weight on the tip, but the backbone with this rod, it doesn't matter. I bet you could throw a 1.5 no problem. And just really cool looking rod. You saw this in my last arsenal. 7.6 heavy action with the fast tip. And what I've got on here for a reel is a Diawa Laguna, like I said. I changed out the handle though to, oh, that didn't work good, to a big power handle. It's only a 7-to-1, but with the power handle, I got so much power over the fish. I can wrench a 4-pounder out like nothing. I can just fling them right in the boat. So, not that that's what you want to do, but 50-pound Power Pro braid. That's about it. Just my punching setup. Haven't used it for anything else. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. Next up is the Veritas. I broke one of these in the past, and I sent it in. They sent me an empty tube back. I wasn't very happy with that because I had a tournament that weekend. And then following that, they sent me a new Veritas. But this one broke again. The guide came out, like I literally just went to cast and I heard this ticking and I was like, what's that? Guide's gone. So this is my frogging rod once again because I can only fish straight braid on it because it won't fray on that guide. Right now I just have a Gambler, little easy, rigged up, big hook. But this is my Veritas 2.0 7-foot medium heavy with the fast tip. This is a Lews Tournament MB, 8:3 to 1 gear ratio, 50-pound, 832 on there, and that's my frogging setup / top water. swim baits, whatever, but I won't use like a spook or anything on this. I have a different rod for that. But yeah, that's my frogging setup. My next topwater setup is my Diawa. Well, it's a Team Diawa T, it's called, technically. It's a 6.6 medium rod. It has a really, really parabolic bend to it. Right now I just have a KVD spook on there. My feathered treble is all messed up because I didn't fix it after it sat on the rod for a while. There we go. She's looking better now, but that's all that I've on there. This is actually 12-pound mono. And a lot of you guys are probably like, oh, why would you do that? Why don't you just use braid? What I've experienced is with the mono, I can get away with hooks that are thinner diameter and they won't bend out. They're sticky sharp. And when a fish takes off, instead of just ripping a huge hole in its mouth like braid does, this keeps the hooks pinned. They don't move around and they don't rip holes in the fish's mouths. Because I've literally been fishing with people and they'll be using braid and they'll like sit there and complain and complain and complain about how they're losing a bunch of fish, and then it's like, dude, you're using straight braid. It's kind of obvious. You're like wrenching on them as hard as you possibly can with straight braid and treble hooks. So yeah, 12-pound mono, 7-to-1 gear ratio reel. Also changed the handle out on this one. It's really, really nice combo. Really, I love it for topwater. It's all I will use now for the next couple of years, hopefully, if this sucker doesn't break, because I cannot afford to keep buying brand new rods, because I am pretty broke right now after I bought a truck and all the tackle warehouse stuff I've been buying. I guess we'll go with my jig setup next. This one hasn't changed much. I've used a couple different reels on the carrot stick throughout the summer, but I am back to my Pflueger Supreme XT. Just matches the rod nice, I don't know. Just got a jig on there. It's my jig rod, if you guys remember, from my spring arsenal. It's got the micro guides. This is a 7-foot medium heavy rod, but it's a very, very good jig rod. I was actually thinking about buying another carrot stick, a 7-foot heavy for jigs, making this a Texas rig rod, but it ain't in the budget right now, so that ain't happening. But other than that, we have 15-pound Power Pro on here. That's all I had for jigs really at the time. It doesn't break. I've literally bent hooks out with 15-pound Power Pro, so I mean, doesn't matter. But like I said, the 7-foot medium heavy with the fast tip carrot stick. And I'm just gonna do this little note on the carrot sticks. I don't really like repping companies because they don't give me anything free. But a lot of people talk crap about these carrot sticks. They're really nice rods. That's all I'm gonna say. They don't break like people say. I've caught multiple fish over 5 pounds on this rod, horsed them in. They don't break. On to my next rod and reel combo. I have a reel cover on this one. I don't even know why anymore because the reel is starting to get a little scratched. But basically what I have here is my Duckett 7-foot medium heavy. Oh wow, the line is really frayed right there. 7-foot medium heavy, and this is an Garcia Revo STX 7-to-1. Well, 7-1-to-1, I should say, gear ratio. As the EVA foam. It's a $200 reel, so it'll break the bank a little bit if you're on a budget. But it's the best reel I've ever used. Hands down, best reel I've ever used. So, Revo STX 7-1-to-1 Duckett Ghost. This is my all-around rod. I will literally use it for anything. In my big green video, I use this rod with a jerkbait. I've used this rod with Texas rigs. I've literally used a frog on this rod with 50-pound braid and caught fish. So I mean, it's just a 7-foot medium heavy. It's versatile. You can do whatever you want with it. If you like break one combo and you need a backup one, that's basically what this is for. So there's that. Next up is my brand new diesel. Very good chatterbait rod, but I only basically use this rod for crankbaits. I do not use a chatterbait on it. I was just smallie fishing, and I put a chatterbait on because the river was like dirt brown. You couldn't see more than an inch, but that's a different story. And I just bought this diesel. It's brand new. I've used it a couple weeks now, and you guys know I had a diesel in the past, and I love the rod, but I came back from a lake. I had my rod in my friend's car, and he was in the trunk. I was closing the door. Somehow the rod moved, slid down the car, and smashed my rod in the door when I closed the door. And it broke. I mean, it smashed into pieces. And I caught hundreds of fish on the rod. And these Powell diesels, for the price, you cannot beat them. They're so nice. So nice. I get the 7.2 medium heavy with the extra fast for cranking because I'm constantly ripping through grass. And I need that little bit stiffer tip, but a good parabolic bend to it, if you know what I mean. So I rip it, and then this rod does load up like really nice. I mean, I don't know how to show you guys, but yeah. And then on this, I just have a really beat up Garcia Revo S. As you can tell, it's seen better days, but I had a couple issues with this reel, so I just had to keep fixing it. And I haven't had any since. I mean, I love this reel. I'll probably buy another one. But it's beat up. That's the best way to put it. It's a 6:4 to 1 ratio. I use it for cranking, so I like the 6:4. Oh. I use it for cranking, so I like the 6:4. These mosquitoes. Just because I can deep crank with it, I can shallow crank with it. Oh, I got a bad view. There we go. Mosquitoes are bad. So I like the 6:4 to 1 because I can shallow crank with it, I can deep crank with it. Where are there people? A 5.3 to 1 isn't enough for shallow cranking. I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't be able to move it fast enough. It sounds stupid, but I like cranking in the fall and spring, and I like to get my crankbait moving a little bit. I like the 6.4 because I can slow it down or I can speed it up. 5.3 or whatever, a 5 gear ratio would be way too slow, and a 7 I would hate having to slow down all the time. So that's basically my theory on why a 6.4 is the best all-around cranking reel. Here's another one, another combo. This is another Falcon Jason Christie series rod. This is a, what is it? I had 3 of these. I sold 1. Now I have 2. It's a crankbait buzzbait, medium heavy with a moderate fast tip. And what I like this rod for, strictly jerkbaits and rattle. I like this rod for jerkbaits and lipless crankbaits. Anything else, I pretty much do not like this rod for. I've used it with square bills, and it's alright. That wind's probably making noise, but I've used it with a lot of different applications, and lipless cranks and jerkbaits are the best I've found. It has a really nice bend to it. It has a lot of tip. But yeah, and then the reel on here is a 6.4 to Garcia Revo Premier in the Gen. It's a Gen 2, but it's a Revo Premier. As you can see right there, it's super smooth. The drag on here is like super crazy smooth. Like, it's tough to even explain. I've been smallie fishing a lot, and when you hook into a smallie, they literally hit it with this short line. You like 2 feet of line out, my drag just straight peels, and it's beautifully smooth. But yeah, that's just the 6.4 to 1 Revo Premier. I haven't been saying the line on my last rods. 12-pound Sunline. I always use Sunline now. It's 12-pound Sunline. And that's what I use for jerkbaits and rattle traps. The line on my... I'm gonna fall. The line on my Powell, 12-pound Sunline for cranking, deep and shallow. Line on my STX, 12-pound for everything. another combo. It's kind of all around. I've used Texas rigs on it and whatnot. This is a Revo SX. That's 12-pound sunline also. And that's a 7:1-to-1 gear ratio. That's a Jason Christie series rod again in the crankbait, buzzbait, medium, heavy, moderate, fast. And it's got a little bit of a different grip. I don't know why. It's kind of interesting that those ones have a different grip, but this rod works just as well as those ones. I haven't had it as long, but I've caught plenty of fish on it. I also use this rod for jerkbaits. I use it for Texas rigs too, light Texas rigs, finesse jigs. But yeah, that's about it. 12-pound sunline, Revo SX, 7:1-to-1. Medium heavy rod with the moderate fast tip. As for the spinning rod now, this is my drop shot setup. This is a number 8 Blackout. It's upside down again, but I don't feel like turning it around. It's a 6.6 medium action rod. I'm pretty sure it has a fast tip. It's a little stiff, but it's really works fine for drop shotting. I haven't had any issues with it. Biggest bass I've caught on this rod was a little over 6 pounds, so it definitely works fine. No issues. Didn't get that one on video, sadly, but yeah. And then the reel on here is a Pflueger. I think it's a this is a Pflueger Trion spinning reel. It's a bigger size spinning reel, and it's got a really smooth drag. It's nice. And then for line, I believe this is 20-pound Stren yellow line to an 8-pound Seagar Red Label leader. And I pretty much only use Seagar for leader material, and I use the 8-pound. Haven't had any issues with it. I've been using it all summer. Caught tons of 5-pounders, couple 6s. It works out good. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, that's my rod and reel arsenal. The only rod I'm missing right now is my Senko rod. I've just kind of been using whatever rod I want for Senkos. It broke while I was up north for that week. On the last day, actually, the guide, it snapped off because when I have people in my boat, they always like to step on my rods. And my guide was bent down to the rod, and when I bent it back up, I could feel it wasn't exactly tight, but I used the rod for a couple more months, and it broke, so that rod's a goner. So I'm saving up, not necessarily saving because I have the money right now. I just don't want to buy it because I haven't used the Senko in a long time. Just want to buy that rod in the spring. We'll make another updated rod and reel arsenal video then. If you like this type of video, be sure to tell me. I just took 20 minutes to make this video. It's a long time. I'll probably shorten it down to about 15, but they're long videos, but I hope you guys enjoy them. I will be making more unboxings. I'll be making reviews on quite a few of these rods and reels I have here, along with some lure reviews I'll be doing. So if you like those type of videos, be sure to stay tuned to my channel. Thanks again for 2,500 subscribers, and as always, thanks for watching, guys.